Beautiful. We are live and we are recording as well. Welcome, everyone. We have a rock star, a legend amongst us. We have royalty tonight here. Like, no kidding. This is pure royalty.
Oh
I'm
boy.
I'm so honored that he said yes. And it's really cool, John, because for me, I feel like I'm reading a great book, and that book is Gene Frederick's story. Powerful story. Oh my gosh, just selling seven, franchise places, and then you hear Brent's story, and then you hear your story. But it's like I'm reading a great book, John, but I'm also in the book now. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. You're part of our journey.
yeah, I'm part of it now.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
love reading and I love reading, yeah. But I love hearing all of y'all's stories. It
Thank you.
just part of it makes me wish I was here earlier, but God had me at the right place at the right time. I grew and I did things that were great, but it's so cool hearing all of y'all's stuff and to be in Cabo with Gene and Brent. I told Brent I had a man crush on him. I hope I'm still part of the team. I don't know. He might have kicked me out, but but
You and I both.
I love his passion, man. I just
Yes, sir.
love it. And when I mimic showing the explain the opportunity, I mimic him because it sits with me well.
Yeah.
But that's what it feels like. I'm reading a great book, but now I'm in the book. And it's just
Amazing.
really cool. And I got to tell you a funny story that you don't know about. But back in 24, the first time I went to Cabo, I was brand new. Like I had no idea why I even went. And I
Wow.
said, go. I was like, cool, let's go. And so I went, and we're in the auditorium, the same auditorium we were in, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, go sit down there by John. I don't know who John is. And so I'm just going to start walking down, and hopefully I run into someone that looks like a John. And I sit beside you, and I did not know you from Adam, didn't know who you were. And afterwards, Daniel says he's the president of the Canadian division for eXp. And I was like, dude, I mean, why didn't you tell me that first? I would have behaved probably. I mean, I don't know how was I misbehaving? I don't know what I was doing. I was in my head, I'm going, damn, what'd I do? I'm
That's
my
awesome.
royalty.
No, man, that's too much. But yeah, I mean, it, yeah, I always think about that too. But I'm like, we always act the same towards everybody. You're the same kind guy before and after you found out. So, just being you is just fine. It was
I love
great.
it.
It was great meeting you.
It was great meeting you too, but I had no idea I was sitting by the president of the Canadian division for eXp. But I do want to say this. I did a little stalking. I read your LinkedIn, and I noticed in 2006, you talked about Robert Kiyosaki's book, Changing Your Life. Ironically, in my presentation, my presentation starts off with me writing the cash flow quadrant on the board. Because in 2005, I had a gentleman that said, read this book, and it radically changed my life.
Wow.
And it was really cool to see your profile say that. I was like, all right, we are kindred spirits. We just didn't
Yes,
know.
sir.
So just out of curiosity, what was it about that book that just kind of lit you up?
What lit me up was it was actually the residual income that I always wanted to have. Like I got to work because I wanted to retire.
Yeah.
I want to work hard to retire. Like but I didn't understand too much about that book until I read, okay, you can buy real estate, you can put some money down, and then you can pay it off with a tenant. Oh my gosh. And if the rent exceeds the mortgage, you have some cash flow left over. And when you get 10 of them and each of them pay you $1,000 passive income, positive cash flow, you would have $10,000 a month. And that was my way out. That was my ticket. I was actually 22 years old. And I'll tell you this little story because I was in Taiwan, and I was working out in this gym, and I saw this gentleman. He was a Caucasian gentleman in Taiwan in the middle of summer, and it was Tuesday at noon. I'm like, his name was Will. I said, Will, what are you doing here, man? You're working out Tuesday. Don't you work? He's like, no, I'm retired. I sold my language school that I built and I invested into real estate. Now I just collect rent checks.
Nice.
I'm financially free. I was like, wow, how can I be like you? He said, go read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Okay.
And I got it literally that night. And then that was the first book that I've ever read at 22 years old, even including textbooks from cover to cover.
I love
And then
it.
that changed the whole trajectory of my life. And before that, I was aimless, I had no direction, and Will changed my life. I don't know. I've told this story hundreds, if not thousands of times. Will, if you're out there, thank you. And he was 42, I was 22, right?
Yeah.
Now, when I look at young guns that are, aimless. And I'm like, you need to read this book.
Yes.
Let me guide you. Let me help you because I want to pay it forward. So I always say this, two meanings: find your will,
There you go.
find your mentor, and find your will inside, which is find your why. If you
Yeah.
have your mentor and you have a strong why, you can crush it too. So that's the story.
I love that. I think you and I are probably on the same page on this. I kind of make fun of real estate agents who train too much on the X's and O's and the meat and potatoes, and they really need to work on their will, the will inside. I love the way you position that. Find your will, and your will is your why.
Yes, sir.
So I'm guessing you train a lot on the why.
Luckily, I would say I'm lucky to have a really strong why. I
Yeah.
don't really need to wake up and say, what's my right? I had, I think, a rough upbringing. To
Okay.
me, anyway. I don't know if it's rough for anybody else. Growing up, being looked down upon, bullied, and specifically from my father, who, when I was growing up as an adolescent, from being a kid, he would always say, you're useless, lazy, you're never going to amount to anything. That hit me hard. And so I took that to heart and said, maybe he's right. And so for all those years, I just said, I'm doing university, I'm going through high school for my dad, right? And when I found that book, I finally started to turn the corner. And with Robert Kiyosaki, I got led to Mike Ferry, Daryl Rutherford, Tony Robbins, and then Landmark, and all these things that I got into. I started to realize it was my own, thoughts that had me make up stories about my dad. So I got out of it. And my dad and I started to have a relationship in 2006 when I first started real estate. And then 2013, he got sick quick. And I had never known that he has 7 stints in his heart, because him and I never talk about that kind of stuff. And as an Asian man, you're very prideful. You never want to seem weak to your sons. So he never talked about it. And he went in for surgery, and he came out of it. It was successful surgery, but 1 week of just delirium. Couldn't really talk. Didn't know who he was, who I was. And on the 7th day, I was alone with him. And Paul, he said to me, after chatting for a little while, he said, the Tsai family is yours. I said, okay, what do you mean? I mean, he had a quadruple bypass surgery and it was successful. I'm like, we're just you're going to be out of here within a week. We're going to be good, whatever. And then I shook his hand. I said, I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. He passed away at 3 o'clock that morning. Right. And so if you guys are watching this right now, like, are you the one for your family? If your parents didn't specifically tell you that you're the one. I was told by my father before he passed. Those were his last words. So I don't wake up with, my back hurts, I should just quit today. No, I'm the one.
Yeah.
And you got to ask yourself, are you the one to change your family tree? I don't have a choice, which makes the why and my will really easy, right? I have 2 older brothers, 13 and 12 years older than me, and I have 1 older sister, 10 years older than me. I was chosen as the youngest one to appear at that specific moment where my dad said, you are the one to take over the Tsai family. If your parents didn't specifically tell you, maybe you are the one. If you're listening to this, you are the one. So think about that. I have a very easy why. I have a very easy will, Paul. That's my why. So I would say that some people can't find it. You have to always try to find out your why. Dig a little bit deeper.
Okay. That's powerful. Yeah. How would you recommend the 20-year-old John coming in here that doesn't have a why? What would you say to them about their why?
I would say, you know what? If nothing, just enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
That's why you're here. And if nothing else, be like a will. Give back, pour back into people. Because what are you here for? You're here to serve other people, right? A life worth living is a life worth serving. The secret to living is giving. And that's why I'm here, when Paul messaged me and said, hey, can you come on this call? I remembered I said yes in Cabo, and then he asked me, and very surprised, I'm like, of course, I said yes, right? But because I'm here, because I'm always wanting to give. If you're not giving every single day, you're not living, right? So for me, that's my purpose. So thank you for giving me a purpose today, really.
I want to jump to something, but I'm going to hold off because I want to ask this next question. You wrote a book, How to Be a Beast. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, I got to wear my shirt today that says make bold moves. Right? You
Yes,
know what I'm saying?
sir.
I was thinking of what I was going to wear. It's like, no, I got to stick with make bold moves. This man wrote a book on how to be a beast. Oh, what inspired you to write the book?
You know what? When I started making 50 contacts a day, and people couldn't believe I was doing that, And as I was doing it, people would be like, man, you're a beast. And I kept hearing that over and over and over and over. And I got into the program Landmark. And in the program, people would be like, John, man, you're a beast. I'm like, you know what? I can teach you what I do, bro. So I wrote a book, The 13 Iron Laws of Sales Performance, Next Level Sales Performance. I can teach you exactly how to be a beast. And, I don't say this lightly, but you all can be beasts. You just need to tap into yourself and be like, you know what? I can do this too. And every talk that I do, my first intention is I want you to believe in you. I'm selling you on becoming a beast in your own right. That's why I wrote the book, is to help, again, other people. And people get a good chuckle out of it because I yell, I'm a beast all the time. You first get a chuckle, then you're like, you know what? He's right. I am a beast.
Amen.
Let's go.
One of my next questions was, you were the president for a year. That's a toll on you to accept that role, but now I get it by what you're saying. You wanted to give back. Why did you accept the role? And you had to have learned some really cool things during that 1 year.
I can't say enough about it. I mean, it was such an honor and a privilege to be able to work alongside Glenn Sanford, Michael Valdez. He's no longer with us at the company, but he was my big brother, and I learned a lot of things from him. Leo Pareja, obviously our CEO now, Patrick O'Neill, and my sisters. I call her Mom, Nadia Habib. She's now the managing director of Canada. I'm so happy for her, and Natalie Goodyear. Just being alongside them, just, running this billion-dollar company at such a high level, I learned so much, and what it really, really, really takes to become a true leader. That's what I really learned in that 1 year. And dealing with multiple personalities, hundreds, thousands of agents in my 1 year. And, why I took the role was because we had competition locally. And they said, Canada's in trouble. Canada, our biggest competition was Real Broker. Right. And they had just come to our market. And literally that day, they took about 30 agents from me in 1 day. And I was like, okay, I take on this challenge. And if you're listening to this right now, if you have a setback right now, if you have a breakdown, think of it as a setup for a comeback. So I decided that day, I'm like, you know what? Bring it on. Let's go. And I just went ham on recruiting that day. But the next day I got the call, and Glenn, he called me and he said, John. I said, hey, Glenn, how's it going? He said, good. I'm like, when the CEO, he was back then the CEO, when the CEO calls you, you either are getting promoted or you're getting fired. I was a little nervous. I was like, Glenn, did I do something wrong? He said, we're looking for some sort of leadership right now as a figurehead in Canada. Would you like to interview for the position of being president of eXp Realty Canada? I said, of course. I'd be happy to serve. You're going to have to, fly to 3 to 5 Canadian cities a month, and you're going to be all over social media. I'm like, let's go. What do you need me to do? Because I know competition is good. I'm going to step up. Let's go. So I took it, right? And he said to me, I was a little bit worried about my girls, and he said, your life is good right now. You work 4 days a week, 4-hour days, but think about this. Your kids need to see you work hard, so they know how to work hard from what you show them. So I took the job.
Yeah.
Right. No joke. It was 3 to 5 cities a month, Paul. And I spoke, and I just, I pump up the whole country, based on my energy. I hope I've done my job. I've done my part, pushing the country forward. And hopefully I did that for all of eXp. I gave it my best. I gave it my all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you're getting a lot of comments over here. 10 minutes in, and he's already given me goosebumps. Powerful. Love it. I am the one. So you got people saying they're the beast, or they are the one taking over their family. I think that's where that came from, is I'm the one carrying the torch, which is powerful. It's kind of touched on Ed Milet's story a little bit. He carrying the torch. He talked about that,
Big time.
Yeah.
Twice I've seen him speak. I'm like, first time in 2023 Orlando, I cried. And then I'm like, second time, I've heard this story. I heard this story before. Next thing you know, I'm like ugly crying in the corner. Like, it just hit me so hard, man. This time too. And it hit me because, like, I believe that we all have something inside of us that makes us special. You're going to grow up to be something special one day. You're going to be somebody one day. You just need somebody to believe in you, to actually tell you that, to have you believe in yourself. And if I can be that person, just like Ed did for me, then I'm here with a purpose.
You do have a purpose. You're already speaking to people here, and just the way you talk, the communication, the way you deliver it, you're speaking to people's hearts. Like, you're the one. stand up. It's not me. You're not this type of leader, John, that says, look how great I am. It's no, you are great. You are great. You are great. So it's pretty cool. Papa Panda says, Ed made me cry twice too. So
It hit us hard, didn't it? Yeah. Not a dry eye in the crowd, I'm sure.
yeah, for sure. So I want to cut to this. EXP. First, I want to say this is please understand John will be successful wherever he goes. He can choose any organization in the world. He can go sell cars. He's going to be successful. You can tell by the way he talks, speaks, he's going to be successful. So let's get to why EXP, because he can go anywhere. He can do anything. So I just want to ask him, why here? I think we're bold. I could tell you why, but I want to hear from you as to why EXP for you.
For me, it was pain. I was selling 149 homes as a solo agent, working 7 days a week, 12 to 14-hour days. And in 2016, basically, that's as many homes as I think one person can sell. Humanly possible, 149 homes. But you might be thinking he's successful, he's happy, he's made it. But I was miserable, I was rotting inside. I was drinking a lot, I was stressed out all the time. My wife and I were roommates, never talked to each other. And I'm like, this can't last. This is not sustainable. So I said, I got to make a change. So how was I going to make a change was let's build some residual income, which is why I came to in real estate anyways. But I had 10 pieces of property in 2016, and they were giving me a negative cash flow of $3,000 a month. In Vancouver, you had to put a lot more down to cash flow. So I was holding property for the sake of holding property, but because the cap rates were so low, I was actually subsidizing, right? Which made me even more stressed out. So I said, okay, we got to get out of this. And the only way was to build a brokerage. And the first thing I looked at was going to RE/MAX. RE/MAX was going to give us three things very clearly if I were to buy a franchise. Number one was equity. If you sell the franchise 15, 20 years down the road, you can at least have something back. If you're just selling real estate, it's just commissions. You eat what you kill and that's it, done. No retirement, no exit strategy. Number two, at the brokerage level, you can recruit agents, help them become productive. You can create a residual income stream that way. I said, okay, great. I can do that. I know how to train. Number three, they were going to give us KV Core for $1,200 a month. I was like, wow, more leads for my agents and for myself. Why not? Okay, how much is it going to cost me here at RE/MAX? $500,000. I said, I don't have $500,000, but that's okay. I'll get three partners, $125,000 each, and I'll get a loan for it, and let's go. Right. And before I signed on the dotted line, we had been negotiating with RE/MAX for about a year. And, my partner then, he came to me with the idea of EXP. I was like, what's ESP? No, EXP. Okay. So, John, you wanted three things very clearly. You want to get out of production. You want to spend more time with your wife. EXP will give you exactly the same three things RE/MAX is going to give you: equity, revenue share, and KV Core. I said, okay, well, how much? Because RE/MAX is $500,000. Is it 300 with EXP? 200,000? And he's at $199 Canadian to start up. I'm like, there's no way. There is absolutely no way. You telling me all these benefits for $199. He said, well, you don't have to believe me. Let's just go and talk to some of the people. So I talked to Gene Frederick. I talked to Rob Flick. I talked to Cliff Freeman, Steve Merritt, Chris Bear, and Brent Gove. I did my due diligence. My last interview was with Cliff Freeman. He said, John, let me ask you a question. If you were to come to EXP, if nothing works out, no revenue share, no equity, and KV Core don't give me any deals, then who are you? I said, well, I'm still John Tsai, grinding away, doing 100 deals a year. Nothing changes. He's like, exactly. And you can always go back to RE/MAX. We don't tie you down to a multi-year contract. I said, okay, well, that makes sense. Let me think about it, I said, right? But before I let you go, Cliff, how much is your residual income from revenue sharing last month? He said, $55,000. I said, wow, that could pay off all my bills, personal and business. I said, I don't know, because EXP is all about, EXP, the platform works, guys. The model works. It's just if you work it or not. I knew it worked for him. I didn't know if I could believe in myself. So I said, let me get back to you. And I hung up the phone. My wife heard the whole conversation in the back. She taps me on the shoulder. Plain as day, I was in LA and we were driving down the freeway. She looked at me wide-eyed and she said, you better get involved with EXP now. We never see you. By then I had a little girl. She was about 6 months old. And I said, you know what, let's do it. So I signed on a dotted line. And, EXP has provided me with everything that I could ever ask for in a real estate brokerage, in a real estate model, a platform, whatever you want to call it. My equities was in the 7 figures. Now it's in the multiple 6 figures. Obviously, the market hasn't been kind to us. But the revenue share remains very strong where, I have been able to get out of listing and selling homes since 2021. So I get to do the business the way I want to, which is helping other agents do exactly the same as what I'm doing right now. I went from 7 days a week, 12 to 14-hour days to 4 hour weeks. 4 days a week, 4 hour days. That's why I get to talk to Paul today. Because if I were out there listing property, there's no way, Paul, we're not talking. Way. Right.
And,
So,
you're still young.
and I'm still young. Well, I'm 45 years young and hope to look like this for the next 30 years. But here's the thing, like that's just part of it. It gives you freedom, options, and choices. And I get to spend time with my wife. I get to spend time with my girls. And now when my mom calls, I used to just hang up the phone because Mom, I'm too busy selling real estate. And I still remember when my dad's last moments, I would go home and I would spend 15 minutes with my parents because, Dad, I want to make you proud, because he was always telling you're useless. So I'm like, Dad, I'm showing you I'm working hard. He would always say this in his favorite seat in the house. Nobody sits in that seat right now in my mom's house. He would always go like this. I said, no, Dad, I got to go. 15 minutes, I'd be home. And now when my mom calls, I don't hang up her phone anymore. I just say, Mom, what do you need? And we move back, close to my mom. It takes me 5 minutes to see her, right? So eXp has provided with everything that I need. So whenever somebody asks me to come and speak, why eXp? I can spend 24 hours with you talking about the same damn thing. eXp has changed my life. And we're about to change yours. If you're watching this right now, let me help you. Let me support you. Let me and Paul support you in taking advantage of this beautiful platform where we can change your life. I promise you. Sorry, I get too worked up.
No, please. Thank you. I like it. I like it. Daniel wants me to let you know your wife is smart. One thing I have found is there's so many more John Tsai's in eXp. What I mean by that is this giving heart. Now, I think Daniel has one of the most servant hearts in the world. The dude's absolutely beautiful. I love the
Yes,
man. I get tired watching him serve. That's all. I mean, I got to take a nap after watching him serve. He's amazing at it. But John, I'm really finding so many people inside of eXp. And speaking of Cliff Freeman, he lives down the road from me, and we flew home from Cabo together, and just hanging out and talking with him. His humility, because I asked him, I said, how do you get 13,000 people on your team? My old business, my insurance business, 2,000 was about it, and you were lucky. The man's got 13,000. I'm like, I want 13,000 people on my team,
and you will.
And the humility that he answered was it's kind of like you would answer. He said, listen, Paul, I really haven't done anything great. I've got 8 great leaders, and that's really it. And I've gone around and I've interviewed so many people. I shouldn't say these are interview, but I've gone around and talked to so many people inside of eXp, and it's all the same thing, John. Everybody's just humble. I haven't ran into one person yet. So, well, let me tell you how great I am. I am so great. And I had this many people because of this. It's just a breath of fresh air, dude. I mean,
yes, sir.
It feels so good. And especially me being a new guy to real estate. I mean, I asked some real dumb questions, and so far nobody's made fun of me, at least not to my face. And so it's just incredible. But real quick, so revenue share, you're crushing it. You got about 2,000 people in your revenue share. How long did it take you to get to like 2,000 revenue in your revenue share?
So I'm just gonna check right now. 1340 today, Paul.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, but it's good. That's my goal this year, actually.
I'm speaking it for you. All right.
And that's my goal this year. You see,
Okay.
268, 100 FLA, 75 FLQA. And this is my revenue share number goal. I keep this in front of me every day. I look at it and I'm like, hey, I always tell agents, how bad do you want rev share? How bad do you want production? I came here in 2019. I said, you know what? Let's go for it. I talked to 50 people per day, my past client center of influence, expired listings for sale by owner. And then in the afternoon, I would talk to 2 agents. And I did that because Brent said 2, 10, 40, 2 agents per day, 10 per week, and 40 per month. And you're going to build a worthwhile revenue share stream that can feed you for years to come. And that's your exit strategy. But you still need to sell real estate to pay the bills today and build rev share for your legacy tomorrow. So I took it to heart. I was dumb enough to say, let's do it. I said, Brent, I'm going to follow exactly to the T what you taught me. In year 1, I went to 162 agents because I was dumb enough to listen to him and say, this might work. Right. And then every single year it was very steady. And, obviously it's not me because 2019, we hit a bump. And during COVID, we exponentially grew. Okay. And by year 5, I hit over 1,000.
Sweet.
And now I'm in my year 6. We're at 1,340. And I just want to share with you this. It's how simple it is. So this is my iPhone notes. It said day one, number 1 agent, Enoch Ing. I just put him down on my iPhone notes. And now, after almost 6.5 years, I've spoken to over 1,802 agents. 1,802 agents. I've so far enrolled 117 FLA. That means that 1 in 17 agents approximately have said yes to me.
Okay.
Okay. And it's just a numbers game at the end of the day. We don't treat people like numbers. When I talk to people, I say, how can I help you with your business? Through the platform of eXp, we might be able to help you. I don't know, but let me find out more about you. What are you looking to achieve? Right. And I just then it becomes, it's just a number. It's just a conversation. But certainly we don't treat people like numbers, but I have to track my numbers. So now when I say, people are leaving my organization, people are leaving eXp. Well, so what, guys? So what? Go out there and talk to 17 more people and 1 more will join.
Huge. God, that's huge.
So you just have to be unemotional about it. Let me just tell you this. I have 1,340 people, and guess how many people have left my organization in the past 6 years, Paul? I'll have you guess that.
13 years, 500?
500. Okay, good. You're not close. 58 agents have left me and our organization in 6 years. That's almost, what is that, like 80% of the people that left. If nobody left, I would have 2,400 people, right? But don't get all worked up about it. It's just a numbers game. We know that each and every agent only, on average, stay 4 years. If they have no sticking points with no sticky points with the brokerage, they're going to leave in 4 years. Average is 4 years. So whenever someone leaves me now, I used to be like, oh, God, why'd you leave? Wow, what did I do wrong? Now I just say, you know what? Thank you so much for your time here. I really appreciated spending time with you. The door is wide open if you ever want to come back, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you for choosing me as your sponsor, and thank you for choosing eXp as the platform. We're going to keep getting better. If there's anything I can support you with, let me know, right? And sure enough, 9.2 agents return to eXp every business day.
That's crazy.
Okay?
That's
so
crazy.
Keep the doors open. Don't burn the bridges. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah, that's a crazy number when they push that up there. It's like, oh my gosh, a day, a day coming back.
Hey,
I've got someone just said, goodness gracious, I've been investing for about 8 years and I'm at least 8 years late to this eXp game.
Yeah, it's never too late. We have people coming in today and in a few months have over 100 people. The next sprint goal is not even here at eXp yet.
Amen.
Listen, like we have 87,000 agents, over 20 million agents in the world. There's 1.7 million agents in the US alone and only 75,000 in the US. Glenn's vision was always to get to 20% in each and every market. We're nowhere close to it, okay?
We're just starting.
So just keep at it. Once again, like when people get discouraged, they hear one no from an agent. It's hard taking a no from a client already, right? No, John, I don't want to buy with you. No, John, we listed with somebody else. And then you got to hear a no, John, I don't want to work with you at eXp. I don't like eXp. Then you're like, oh God, this hurts so much. I can't do this rejection thing anymore. Get over it. Get over it. You're a beast. Beast, don't cry. Go cry in the corner and come back and come and attract more agents with me, okay? Like I promise you. I can help you. But here's the thing. The reason why I tell you I lost 1,058 agents is because I just have more rejections than you guys have. I just have more no's than you guys have. The reason why I have 1,340 is because I lost 1,058.
So strong.
Does that make sense?
People would love to have the 1,058, John. The what you've lost, people would love to have.
I'd rather not have lost that much. So we're working on retention. Yes. Yeah.
Well, we are growing and there is always going to be growth and it's getting better every day. I just tell people, hey, if someone comes to me and complains about something about eXp, I'm saying, hey, this is a great opportunity for you and I to take advantage of it. We can jump in now and take advantage of this vacuum and fill it and with our expertise. Don't complain about it. Let's fix it. I think that's where we're headed right now with everything going on.
Oh, I'm so excited, Paul, with co-sponsorship, with all the resources we have. We're, like Jay Kinder said, we're going to go on a bull run, but we're going to go on a bull run not with cockiness, not with, boastful attitude. Work hard and keeping ourselves humble right? And just grind the fuck out of this thing, okay? Just be with me. Let's go beast mode in the next 5 years, and it'll set you free. I promise.
Well, I kind of wanted to end with co-sponsoring, so you've nailed it.
Yeah.
Give us a high level. Don't try to get in the weeds because I'll get confused. I just know I'm gonna throw a bunch of people into the pot, and I'm gonna make a bunch of friends, and we're gonna train some folks. So if you
Yes, sir.
could just kind of give us a high level of it.
Yeah. So before it was kind of like if Tim wants to join eXp and he's looking at Paul, he's looking at me, right? They're like, oh, who should I choose? Who should I choose? And you have to choose either one or the other. And then it ends up, oh, I went this way, but I made a mistake. So I have to leave for 6 months and I'll come back, under Paul now, but I have to leave for 6 months. We've taken care of that problem. Now, if Tim wants to join eXp through 2 people, it's totally possible. And you don't split the revenue share in half. Here's how it works. Tim wants to join Paul. And let's just say Tim is in Vancouver and Paul is talking to him on social media, built up a great relationship, but can't support him locally. Paul's going to say, you know what? I know John's my great friend, and I know he's got a great system locally here. He's got all the trainings possible. He can support you locally, make sure that you're successful in Vancouver. You're going to go under John. So I essentially become Paul's tier 1, but I'm a buffer spot. Paul doesn't get revenue share from me because Steve Merritt, my sponsor in Chicago, already gets rev share from me. So I'm a buffer spot for Paul. Then Tim comes behind me as my tier 1 and Paul's tier 2. Tim earns a deal, whatever, caps. I will earn the fast start bonus the first year, $4,000. Paul, because of Tim's production, gets FLQA credit and the stock awards. But essentially, Paul and I, from different organizations, have essentially created a new organization, new line under Tim. Now we're in the line. You can switch it the other way around as well. Let's say Tim, this is more for location. Let's say Tim is in Dallas. I can't support Tim from Dallas. I am the primary sponsor. I will put Tim under Paul. Paul is now Tim's sponsor, tier 1 to Paul and tier 2 to me. The only difference, guys, is the co-sponsor. Let's say if I'm the co-sponsor and Paul is the primary, my senior sponsors, the people who sponsored me because I'm the co-sponsor, will not benefit off of Tim. But the primary sponsor, Paul, his sponsors will benefit off of Tim's production.
Right.
Does that make sense, Paul?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think
Daniel, we want to say thank you again if you're watching this. That diagram makes it super easy for people to understand, and it's very cute too. I send it out all the time.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense because if I got somebody in, Ohio, and there's a leader out there and they can co-sponsor, then great. If it's flipped the other way and I'm not getting anything above, at least I have a happy agent that's got another revenue stream and he ain't going to leave me.
Exactly.
And then I just got to teach him how to build 2 other legs outside of that, and I'll get something from it eventually. But at the end of the day, he's happy. He's got people to work with that rocks. You just got to play. Just got to play the numbers. You mentioned it.
Yes, sir. And you can do this infinite times with people not in your organization.
Yeah.
You can also do it with somebody when you build it big enough, your tier 8 agent, you can start co-sponsoring with them and linking again with them. So it's infinite tiers of revenue share, guys. You just think about that. This is beautiful.
Gosh.
Okay.
Holy cow. Well, man, thank you so much for your time. You're very important to Daniel. Daniel's talks highly of you all the time. He purposely had me sit beside you 2 years ago in Cabo. I just wish
that was his plan. I was just like, hey, Paul, how's it going? I mean, I didn't know there was a plan.
Daniel's always got a plan. He's always
awesome.
That dude's in the networking full, man. Nothing gets by him.
Oh, I love it. And we sat by each other just by chance this time around too.
Yeah, we did sit beside each other again.
Yes, sir. That's how it works, man. That's life. I love it.
Sit beside Jack as well. You and Jack. That's awesome. But
I love it.
But thank you so much. I'm getting text messages like crazy. I just want to read this one to you. I've never been this fired up on a conference call. I'm usually not a big conference call person. This is amazing. I love the transparency there.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. This is so powerful. Jasmine says, I am the one. This is a 24-year-old woman, John, that attends our Wednesday thing. We've seen her grow before our eyes, and you just impacted that person you just talked about. She's 24.
Wow.
So you made a big deal.
That's goosebumps for me.
Yeah, good.
I'm the will for Jasmine, you see.
There you go.
I'm 45 and she's 24 and I'm paying it forward. So Jasmine, go crush it and you're going to pay it forward to the next person. I love you all.
Amen. Thank you so much, my friend. And thank you all for getting on. And Daniel Ing, thank you for helping us build all these incredible relationships. And until we meet again next Monday, adios.
Adios.